This episode's brought to you by mobcasting.org, where online content creators showcase their work. Hey, this is your host Anthony Dinar and your co-host Brandon Hayes.
Hello.
And today we're taking a look at Breath of the Wild. It's the new Zelda game.
Yeah, and I like the game. I think it's great, but
I don't know.
We'd like to focus on the negative here. So
it's not a 1-2 switch, so I'm kind of out.
Well, that is the best game on the system. No, like I said, it's a great game. I like it a lot, but there are some problems with it, and we're just going to talk about the problems today.
Dare you?
Yeah. Again, I'm going to stress I like the game, so if don't give me any shit for just picking on some of the little things.
Okay, Ganon.
And I'm gonna say some of these are just little nitpicks, but as we were playing the game, you were playing, I was watching you, I was just writing down some stuff. So here we go.
It's like Dave Letterman. It's like top 10 list. Here we go.
I didn't count them, but maybe I have 10. But my first note: sometimes you have to chase after like little tiny animals, like little butterflies and lizards and things.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're even chasing after boars too, and you just want to shoot them for meat. They'll be running away from you, and then they'll just disappear.
Yeah.
They'll just run right into a mountain, and you don't see them anymore.
Yeah. So like what it is you're supposed to be stealthy, and so like you've already failed, and you get like a brief moment to redeem yourself if you're like a good archer or something with accuracy. But the whole point is like if you fail, you fail, and like that thing just disappears. It's not a glitch. I think that it was intentional.
Okay. Well, it's kind of annoying because I'll buy it for the lizards and the butterflies. When a fucking boar just disappears, that's kind of bullshit. And since we're on the topic of that, there's like one quest in particular where this woman's like, "Get me 5 glow flies or whatever."
Oh yeah.
And you're trying to chase after them. You're trying to go stealthy, and you're trying to catch them. Every time you get close to them, they disappear completely.
Yeah.
And we were thinking, like, what the hell? This is impossible to do. Turns out there are 2 different types of these glowing insects. One that's just a regular background thing that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, you can't interact with it whatsoever.
And then there's the ones that you can interact with,
which
and
are
grab.
much, much brighter. But you don't know that because they only come out sometimes. And I don't know if this was like a bug, pun intended, or like if it's supposed to be that difficult. Because like we bought the book, which we'll talk about that later. But like the book says, like you'll find them at night as long as it's not raining. And that wasn't true. It was just like occasionally you would find them at night.
Yeah, sometimes, and so you would sit by a campfire, you'd wait for the next day, like you kept trying this thing over and over again. Sometimes it was raining, sometimes it wasn't, but like, yeah, I swear to God, that particular thing was glitched. And maybe some people did that quest without any problems whatsoever. It took us like a good, hour and a half to complete it.
Yeah, it was stupid.
Such a joke. Anyway, next complaint. Treasure chests fucking suck in this game. They're everywhere.
It doesn't warrant that music,
No.
that sound effect.
Yeah, they're everywhere in this game, and they're full of crap.
Yeah.
Just garbage. And money seems to be like non-existent in this game.
Well, I have almost $7,000. I'm saving up to buy myself a big fairy.
But it's so rare.
Yeah.
When like you're killing guys, they never drop money. You're opening up chests, maybe like 5% of them at best have money in them.
Yeah.
It's kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
Like you never find money in the bushes or anything, and I get it, that's not realistic, whatever. A lot of this game isn't realistic though, so come on.
Yeah, it's funny is like I always call them rubies, but it's spelt rupees, which is the currency of India. Do you think that was on like accident? Like that was like a spelling error in translation? Because like visually they're rubies, but they spell it rupees.
Yeah, I think it was just a translation. Have you ever looked at the enemies in that first book? When it's like bats were keys, and I mean they still carry over to this day, but like, yeah, they didn't know what the hell they were talking about. Snakes were ropes and things like that. But yeah, it makes it like when the treasure chest rewards almost always suck. it really kind of takes out the fun of trying to get to these chests. Like, sometimes you'll just see them and you're like, fuck it, I don't care right now.
Yeah, you know, like they did two things with that. Like, there are a lot more chests than ever before. But yeah, I think that they're not as good.
Okay, so this next note of mine is kind of strange, but before this game came out, there was a lot of talk about what it could potentially be, and I remember a lot of people talking about the possibility of playing as either Link or a female character. Do you remember
but not
that?
Zelda?
But
no,
not
I don't
Zelda.
remember this at all.
And some people were like, that's lame. Social justice warriors trying to ruin my Zelda games. And then,
shut up.
And then other people were like, yeah, that's great. That's awesome. And I was kind of in the middle. I was like, yeah, I don't want it just to be a color swap, like a palette swap, sort of.
Yeah.
Completely
Different character.
Yeah, I want a completely different character that's, like, fleshed out. Like, Link has a whole deep storyline. Like, I would like a female character with the same thing.
But I guess then it's not as, like, legendary. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, not that women can't be legendary. I just mean that, like, you fleshed out the, like, Hyrule universe without a female character like Link. And it's not that, like, there isn't proper representation. I mean, if you think about it, the story's cut into thirds. You have a bad guy, and then you have two good guys. And that's split between Link and Zelda. So, I mean, they're equal in the sense that, like, they're different pieces of the Triforce, but they both have one piece of the Triforce. You know what I mean?
Well, so then in the next game, let us play from Zelda's perspective. Because she's got a big part in the story, so let's see it from her side.
Yeah, like, so, like, Link is the warrior, and then Zelda's more like the mage, you know? Like that'd be kind of cool. You got two different, like, fighting techniques or styles even. That'd be sweet.
And the series is named after her after all, so
yeah, I mean, come on. Yeah, I mean, like, Link's constantly mistakenly referred as Zelda.
The next thing I got down on my notes is half of this is voice acted. I'm being generous there.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it is just text. Everyone was super excited about hearing voices. They're like, oh my god, I can't believe it, for the first time ever. It's like, it's barely there, so who cares?
You know, it doesn't bother me one way or the other. What sucks about it, though, is, like, you will be talking to Zelda's father. He's a ghost in this one.
Oh, spoiler alert.
Who cares? I mean, fuck, everyone's done an episode who has a podcast about Breath of the Wild, so we're late to the game, but at least, like, I don't know, we played it a lot before we sat down to talk about it. But anyway, so, like, you're talking to Zelda's father, and he's, like, giving you text, and then it cuts to, like, sort of like a cinema scene kind of thing, and it's cool, it's all movie, and then it comes back to the game, and he's talking still, just like he was in the cinema scene, and then it goes to straight up reading the text again.
Yeah.
Like, nothing visually's changed, nothing really warranted the transition from having the voice actor to having to read text. Like, it's kind of weird.
it's kind of cheap is the way I look at it. It's like, just get the actors in there and have them read the whole dialogue, and then just cut back on the dialogue if you don't want to have them read
they're
so
already
much.
There, right? I mean, yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
But it's so funny because he's like, Link, you've been asleep for 100 years, and he's telling this whole story, and then it cuts to just him out in the world, and you're reading text, and he's like,
Yeah. You know, like, speaking, since we're on this topic, like, I think it's when you interact with a fairy, and like the big ones, and you give them, like, you know,
way too much money.
Yeah. Oh, that's for sure. And you give them, like, pieces. So, like, here's, you know, all this junk that I found out in the wild now, like, give me some enchantment on my armor. And what's funny is, like, when that interaction happens, there's, like, the da 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 da. It's all spelled out in the text box, which is fucking retarded.
So the next thing I got to complain about is the music. There's barely any music in this game. It's mostly non-existent. And when you do have it, in the boss battles especially, it fucking sucks. It just doesn't fit epic battle. It's funny because if you buy the collector's edition, they give you a little CD of the soundtracks. Like, who the hell would ever want to listen to that?
Okay, so there's a couple things wrong with what you just said. Okay, one, a good soundtrack, like there is more music, I think, in the game than you're giving credit for. But a good soundtrack is something that really isn't noticeable. I mean, it's experienced, like it makes things tense, or like swelling. It gives you like emotion that's tied to what you're seeing. You hear it, but like your brain doesn't really register like consciously that you're listening to it. That's a good soundtrack, because you're not supposed to, just be beaten over the head with it. So I think there is more music than probably what you're accounting for that you can recall. However, what takes you out of the moment is this weird kind of like Disney attribute to the soundtrack. And like when you're fighting a mini boss or something, it's almost like it's too upbeat and uppity, and like it's not. I don't know. It sort of takes you out of it. It's not as fitting as you would think, or other past Zelda games.
It's like what I said when we were playing the game before, and you hit up one of the very first mini bosses ever.
Yeah, one of those like golem things. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, "What is this music? Fucking Cowboy Bebop?" Like, very few people will know what that show is, but the ones that do will know that this music sounds exactly like that. It doesn't fit at all. I hate it. The only tune I enjoyed at all is there's a moment when we had to get to a shrine that was in Castle Hyrule, which is now Ganon's lair, and that music is good.
Yeah, that is definitely good.
But that's the only thing I liked. And I'm going to disagree with you on that whole music thing, like when you don't notice it or whatever. Like, if I played you certain tunes from certain video games like Castlevania, like classic tunes like that.
No, if you played the music, yes. But I mean, if you're watching a movie, which like games are becoming more and more like that, you don't necessarily pick up the music in a movie. You're just supposed to feel it, I guess. Like, you're supposed to feel tense because they're playing tense music. But if I were to show you the movie without the music, wouldn't you agree that you would have a totally different feel? Or if I played you the music without the movie, wouldn't that be different as well?
No, there are videos on YouTube of people stripping out the soundtrack in certain movies, like really emotional scenes like E.T. and whatnot, and you're like, God, there's nothing here. This really sucks.
Yeah.
Anyway, the next complaint I have is the shrine indicator. I wish you could turn this thing off. Yeah. It's really annoying. And then
you can actually later on, like, you get an option to upgrade, and I was really hesitant to do this because I'm like, I don't want it beeping any more than it has to.
Because we thought it would just extend the range of the indicator.
Yeah. So it turns out though is like you could turn it to something that is hard to find or not in the area, and then it just doesn't beep at all, which is great.
So there is a way around it. I just wish there was an off switch on it.
Yeah, I agree.
Make it simpler.
It just sucks for people who are trying to record it and like want to put it on YouTube or something like that. Like, it's just annoying. Every 2 seconds. It's awful.
Yeah. The next thing I got is there's no recipe book.
Wow, your complaints go off as much as that fucking indicator in the game. Just joking.
I hate that there's no recipe book. Like, when I grab random shit and I throw it into a pot and it's like, oh, hey, you just discovered, surf and turf. I'm like, okay, can you put that in a book for me to remember?
Okay, yeah,
because otherwise cool. I'm just going to sit here with a notepad and have to write it out like a chump for real.
Right. Okay, so it sucks that that's not there. That's not a deal breaker to me. You know what's a deal breaker to me? Is we bought the fucking book and the book doesn't have a single goddamn recipe in it.
It's just really expensive.
What's the point? You bought the strategy guide. I got the hardcover. I got the limited, unlimited, or not unlimited, the limited edition, like whatever. Oh, that was bullshit.
Yeah, no, that's frustrating because you were like, we wanted to get to a cold area or a hot area. I can't remember the particular thing. And I said, oh, there's recipes in the book. And I flipped to the end there. And it tells me like, some things will keep you warm. Some things will keep you cold. And then it just shows me all the pictures of the food. It doesn't even tell me how to make the food. It's like, what's the fucking point of this?
Yeah.
But I hate that. Like, it's so cheap to me. It's like the developers are cutting corners by not making a recipe book in game, and then it's like they tell you, oh, we're not cutting corners, we're letting you explore and discover. Right. It's like, fuck off, give me a book.
So what kind of makes it tolerable is like you don't know this because you don't really play the game. You basically watch me play the game, but so you got like certain mushrooms that it tells you in the description that this will help with, heat or something.
Well, yeah, it's like stealth shroom or rushroom.
So I mean, you just throw it together and like, you can sort of customize it in the sense that like, I know this is going to give me health. But I know that's going to give me whatever. And like, you can customize the food or elixir essentially that you want rather than having like, I don't need to know a recipe. Unless it's something really fucking good, which you just go online, and it sucks that, again, it's not in the book.
No, that's what I did, is I go to Google, and then Google helps me do something that Nintendo didn't do. Google does what Nintendo don't. But it's
just so stupid.
it does suck to like experiment, because like, what if you like durians are really those like spiky pineapple fruit things?
Yeah,
they're very valuable, and so you don't want to waste one of those.
Right. Which one of the best recipes that I use is you take 5 of those. And it basically gives you full health as if you had every single heart already. So that is really cool. Go to, what is it, Farron Tower?
Yeah.
And that's where you'll find them. You go to the tower, and along the edge you'll see 2 of those lizard guys dancing around. And every 24 hours you can, in real hours, you can go there and collect a bunch of them. It's pretty cool.
Okay, another, I guess, minor little bitch of mine is that you can't see the life or durability meter of weapons. Like, there is no meter telling you.
Yeah, and everything breaks, and so, like, it would be nice to know, like, hey, this is 50%, good still.
Show me a little hit point counter on my screen.
Yeah.
Or, like, some people will be saying, like, well, eventually it does flash. It's like, yeah, I gotta go into the menu.
At the very end of its life, though.
Yeah. No,
you don't have to go into the menu. It will. Oh, okay, yeah. It does when you go in the menu, flash red, but it tells you on screen that it's about to break. But yeah, that's only when you got like a couple hits left. It sucks when you got only so many spots, and you're like, oh, I want to pick this up, but this weapon's better, and then you're like, shit, I fucking should have switched it because now that I'm too far away and I can't go back to pick it up, my weapon just broke. Yeah, and even the Master Sword breaks.
It doesn't technically break, it just loses its charge.
Yeah, which is fucking dumb.
Because, they know that if you pick up the Master Sword, then you're never gonna deal with those other weapons again, because you're gonna break the system and use the Master Sword, which never breaks or anything. So they're like, they had to give it a super lame weakness.
That's fucking stupid. No, I would have loved to not have something that broke. I mean, that's the whole point of the Master Sword, is it not? Make it where I have to get it at the very end, then, like, to fight Ganon, and that's basically my reward for beating the game, so then I don't have to fuck with stuff that breaks.
But then they're expecting to come out with expansion content, right? And then you would never get rid of the Master Sword.
Whatever.
So then, I guess my last complaint here is, the Blood Moon is completely fucked up and broken. Actually, I'll say the Blood Moon and the weather is fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't work it glitches out. Like, the Blood Moon in particular. Here, let me explain, like, let me tell you, paint the scene of, like, a really frustrating moment.
Paint it with blood.
You're climbing up this mountain, and there's this little ice cube on the top of this peak. And you're like, I bet if I melt that thing, there's going to be one of those little seed people inside that gives me one of those Korok seeds. So you set up a little campfire next to it, and you start melting it while a bunch of bad guys jump out of the snow. It was like 2 of those lizard guys, and then like, I don't know, a bunch of keys or something come at you. It was
nighttime, so you're also getting like skeletons.
Okay, but either way, you're getting attacked. So you start to attack these guys while that ice block is melting, and you're killing them. They're dropping all their stuff. You get done with nearly the entire fight, and then and the ice block's nearly melted. All of a sudden, Blood Moon pops up.
Yeah.
You see the same damn cutscene that you see every fucking time.
Yeah, that sucks too.
It's really annoying. And then
it was cool the first couple times.
Yeah, but then it should have just turned off.
Yeah.
But then after the Blood Moon cutscene, it throws you back in that spot again.
After a loading screen, which sucks.
Right. And now the ice block is completely reformed again. You have all your stuff that when you killed those guys, it's gone. Those guys pop
the
out
stuff
again.
You didn't pick up that's still on the ground, yeah.
Yeah, and the guys pop out again, and they start fighting you again. You don't get back the materials that you set down to make your fire. You don't get back the broken swords and shit that you lost on the enemies the first time around. Yeah. It's fucking annoying.
Well, if they would tell you, like, you know, the Blood Moon is coming, like, it sucks that there's that whole reset to it. But or like every time you turn the game off, like the Blood Moon happens when you turn it off or something. Like that'd be kind of funny too.
If you saw a calendar, because you've got a fucking thermometer on your screen and a little icon thing telling you how loud you are. If there was some sort of calendar and it's like, hey, it's almost the 31st, ready for a Blood Moon.
But then that's also something that's weird. Is it's not every month. It's like a weird, you know, astrological, whatever you want to call that. I just totally fucked up that word.
It's random, is what it is.
Yeah.
Because we've had a Blood Moon, and then like 10 minutes later, had another Blood Moon.
Yeah. It's funny. There's this one shrine that you have to go to, and you can only get it to work like when there's a Blood Moon, and you have to be there when it happens.
You have to be standing on the dais, completely naked.
Yeah, that's what it is. Naked.
Waiting for the Blood Moon to appear. So we were watching a movie, and I just had the Switch out on my lap, like paying attention to it, moving Link every few seconds so that like it wouldn't go to screensaver mode. And I'm just watching and waiting and waiting. It was over 2 hours before that fucking Blood Moon happened.
But you know what sucks is you forgot to mention though, like the first time that we traveled there, as soon as we got there, Blood Moon, and
then I jumped on the dais.
Yeah, completely naked, and nothing happened. And
so we had to wait for the second Blood Moon.
Yeah, it was crap.
And meanwhile, fuck those quests where it's like makes you wait for real life things. There's one where we had to have a shadow appear on a dais at like 4:20 p.m.
Yeah.
What a joke.
Stoners.
And we almost missed it. You just barely got it before the sun moved. It's like I was almost like screaming at the screen like, if we had to wait a whole other 24 hours of in-game time for you to try that again to hit that shadow perfectly.
Well, I would have just made a fire and like
it's unnecessary. I hate that crap. But anyway, it's a good game. I do like it.
No one believes you.
Meanwhile, I'm sure everyone, if anyone listened to any of this, they're going to be like, you fucking casual.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's again, we said they were nitpicks, but I was playing the game today, actually. I've been playing a lot of it. It's actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, and by the way, like to go back on that one thing, I forgot to mention this. When I complain about the lack of rubies in the game and you're like, hey, I'm up to 6,000, whatever, that's because we own 1,000 amiibos too. Let's not forget that. I don't think this game is playable without amiibos.
In the beginning, those amiibos were invaluable because
they still are.
Well, I mean, like more so in the beginning than now, but yeah. Yeah, definitely. You know what else is kind of bullshit?
I got another complaint, too. God, I hate this game. No. The fucking horses. Like, they got a whole system about, like, horses and you can capture horses and ride them stuff. The ground is so uneven, it doesn't even matter. Like, you can barely ride these horses anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it does kind of suck, but you can't say that. I mean, you can take a horse.
How often do you ever ride a horse?
Never.
Yeah, you know why? Because it's super inconvenient.
And I don't know why, but like I named my horse Dumb because when I
because the system's dumb.
When I whistle the horse, I could have the horse on screen even or a million miles away. and he never hears me. It says, it appears Dome hasn't heard you. I'm like, yeah. But you know, it's fucked up is like, I got this volcanic whatever armor that I can wear in the mountains where there's a volcano. And it's so fucking hot that no matter what you do, like you can do things like, you know, eat frozen meat, popsicles and stuff to keep yourself cool in certain areas. That sounds gross, but it's raw meat, by the way. And then when you get to the volcano, you have to have like this armor because it's you know, so fucking hot that no amount of ice popsicle can help you. And so like I took that same armor to the desert where like those thieves, like what are they called? They start with the
They're
G.
like Gerudo or something. The female thieves.
And so I wear that in the desert, and I'm all hot, and I'm all taking damage, heat damage, because it's not you can withstand the heat of a volcano next to it. Which, for that, like, logic alone, I should be able to wear that suit anywhere. I should be able to wear that in the mountains where it's ice fucking cold. Because, like, the insulation is so good, I should be fine, right? But no, I can't wear it in the desert, or anywhere else but the volcano area.
Well, there's probably some special armor that you get from those women or
You get,
something.
like, girl clothes, which I haven't gotten there yet. I've gotten to the place, but I can't get inside. You need the girl clothes to get in.
Because when Link dresses like a woman, apparently he passes as a woman.
Yeah. Transgendered Link.
There's your female playable character.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, we haven't gotten to that area yet, though, in, like, our questing. We started following the walkthrough in the book, and the walkthrough in the book fucking sucks.
Yeah.
It skips over a bunch of stuff. It rushes you to, like, by the time you get to, like, page, like 10 or something,
it's
telling you, telling you to do stuff that's way too hard. So it's like,
what you have to do is you have to basically not play the game. You have to go and collect all the shrines.
Mm-hmm.
And once you do that for countless hours and you get enough stamina and enough hearts, because it takes fucking 4 shrines to do 1 vessel of stamina or 1 heart. And
you max out that stamina first.
Yeah, that's the very first thing I did. And then you need all those heart pieces. So like I think I'm at like 144 shrines or something.
Who knows? There's way too many. They went apeshit with these shrines.
They did.
I kind of prefer just the old dungeon system where you had like 8-9 dungeons, and that was fine.
You got a heart for each dungeon, but you also had to find like heart pieces out in the wild, you know. I get it.
Another thing, like with all these fucking treasure chests that don't amount to shit, like it was fun in the older games to like crack one of those open and get a piece of a heart. There was none of that in this game.
No, it sucks. It sucks. But you know, at the end of the day, though, it is the best Zelda game ever. I never in a million years thought they would take something like those Guardian things, like you would see them in previous Zelda games. Like they were cool, but you know they would shoot lasers at you, the eye or whatever, but they wouldn't move. Or like you would interact with shit that was tough. Those same characters, but you never took them as like the end all be all. Like they're fucking king shit in this game.
Everything's tough.
Well, that's true. I mean, like when you first start out, I mean, things are one hit killing you. But like those fucking Guardians are intense.
Yeah, but anyway, again, I do like this game, and I could have easily have made a big list of all the things I do absolutely love about the game.
But I mean,
but I'm not going to do that because and that's what we do here anyway. We focus on the negative. And we're big crybabies, big casual crybabies who want our games to be super easy and beatable, so that we feel like we accomplished something.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, that's the end of this. Thanks for watching.